All right, everybody, what's going on? Welcome to today's edition of SWAC Talk, the show we cover the SWAC inside and out. Of course, I am your tour guide around the SWAC Seawells, coming at you with another show. Today, we're going to talk about social media and the SWAC. You know, that's something that's been a topic that a lot of people have been looking at. I think it's improving, but I think there's still some ways to go. So we're going to just kind of take a little dip into what I see on the social media world with SWAC athletics, primarily football, and we'll just talk about it a little bit. With that being said, why don't you go ahead and check out the socials on the screen. Facebook is SWAC Talk, Instagram is SWAC Talk, Twitter SWAC Talk 76, Gmail SWAC Talk 76 at gmail.com. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. If you have, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Like the video, share them. Make sure you hit that notification bell to be alerted to any content that I upload. And feel free to drop a comment on the video. You know, let me know what you think about social media and the SWAC. You know, what needs to be done to get better, what they're doing good, you know, and the whole nine. So, man, we're not going to waste no time on this beautiful Sunday. So we're going to go ahead and jump in on this. I went through and kind of looked at, basically, I looked at the Twitter accounts and Instagram accounts of all the SWAC schools, and just to see, you know, how many followers they had on Twitter. Maybe I'm just not well versed at Twitter. I couldn't find how many tweets that they had each one posted, at least on the mobile app. So I didn't really worry about that. But on the Instagram apps accounts, I posted the number of posts that each account had and the number of followers. And as far as the football page, Instagram page goes, I posted the last time that each one of them was active, just to kind of get an idea of how active they are, you know, how they use these sites, because we know that right now we are in a time period where social media is very important. It's a huge extension of your athletic program now, and it's honestly its own avenue that you can use to get information out about your program, you know, let people know what you're doing, you know, just giving people that inside access that they normally couldn't get by you know, from anything. You know, I mean, you know, the school websites are good, but you know, those are not always, everybody doesn't update their websites, you know, all the time, especially like on day-to-day things. You know, a lot of times some websites don't even get updated during the season, you know, game by game. So, you know, that's an issue in and of itself. But you know, social media is something that can be updated every day if you choose to. You know, it's really nothing to make a post. I mean, we all do it, you know, every day on our own accounts. So I kind of hold the schools to that same standard on social media with the programs. Excuse me. I think that, you know, it should not be that hard to, you know, drop an Instagram post every other day, every day, you know, once a week, you know, letting people know what's coming up in your program. You know, we just had spring practice. I think that's a time that, you know, you can post some pictures of your practices, maybe a video or two here and there, you know, letting people know when your spring game is, you know, letting people, you know, giving people an idea of what's going on with your spring practice. You know, recruiting is the same thing with signing day. That's 2 signing periods. You know, giving us an updated account of who you brought in on those days. You know, then in the fall, you know, opening a camp, you know, showing kids reporting to, you know, to campus, you know, checking in, whatever, you know, first couple of days of practice, you know, first day in pass, whatever. And then, you know, game week, you know, that's, you know, those are some things that I like to see. One thing that I know a lot of people don't really care about, but I think it's an important, well, not important, but I think it's a thing that's a really useful thing is uniform reveals. I know that's not a huge difference. It doesn't make or break anything, but it's always cool to know, you know, to see, you know, what the team is wearing on Saturday for game day. I mean, it's just, you know, one of those kind of things that might get you, you know, maybe they're rolling out a new uniform. Maybe they, you know, maybe they got a combo that you like that they wearing this week you want to see. So I think that's something that, you know, that's something that can get people engaged in your account. You know, some schools do these things pretty well. Some got a lot to improve on, but I think everybody's kind of trending upward to some degree. I mean, you know, like I said, that it's been well documented, and I've said it on different shows that FAMU, Jackson State are probably the top two in social media right now, if in terms of engagement and just making the most of what they have and how they do it. FAMU is very strong on Facebook as well, especially since they broadcast their games on their Facebook Live account, and they do a good job of constantly updating all sports and let you know what's going on. Jackson State, they have definitely a big advantage being coached by Deion Sanders, who's very active on social media, and so by that account, he puts Jackson State out there all the time. He does a lot of talking on his page about JSU and what they're doing, and then in turn the school can piggyback off of that. A lot of coaches aren't as active as I don't think coaches need to be mad active on social media as far as your head coach or whatever. I don't expect them to be tweeting every day, but a couple of things here and there. Even if they got somebody that run the account for them, I think that's a good look to have your coach be invisible, even if it's just a thing of a kid commits, he drops a message, oh, we got this new guy coming to our school, whatever. Those kind of things are getting the fans hyped up for game day or spring games and things like that. I think that's the avenue that I would love to see more engagement from the head coaches. Now, a lot of assistant coaches in the conference are really active on social media, so that's a good thing. And like I said, I think it's just something that people are understanding that you have to go this route. I know a lot of administrators and things are older and older than me. I'm 46, but a lot of people don't view social media as being necessary or productive, but it's very necessary in today's age. So if you don't use it, you're gonna get buried. And I think a lot of people are playing catch up now. Looking at I haven't went through a lot of other schools, but I know a lot of people may not be as active as the SWAC needs to be, and that's my concern. Is the SWAC, what other people do is not really a big deal. What we do is the big deal to me. So just want to kind of run school by school and kind of give my thoughts on what I saw with their social media accounts, and just kind of go from there. So we'll start with Alabama A&M. Their athletics Instagram page has 3,977 followers, and they have had 1,026 total posts. Now the football page has over 5,600 followers and 380 posts, and they last made a post on, as far as when I put this information together last week, March 29th. And they are fairly active on there. They've posted a few things here and there. Now they didn't have a lot of updated information, especially about their spring game. I think if there's one thing that made me really do this is a lot of people didn't really give a lot of information on their spring practices. There was no real updates after A&M spring game. You didn't really know a lot. They did go live with their spring game draft, which I thought was cool, but there wasn't a lot of other info on the game itself, either before or after. So to me, that was a missed opportunity, because I like to find out information about these games, since these are spring games. They're not actual real games. I can't go to the newspaper, get stats and stuff like that. So if I can get any information from the school itself, I think that helps a lot. But they have been fairly active. Now their Twitter account has been suspended, but they do have a Bulldog recruiting account that's been kind of tweeting in replacement of the actual football account. I don't know what happened with the football account, why it got suspended, but their Twitter account is suspended. So that's an interesting thing. I would love to know why and how that happened. Also, another aspect of media is the actual newspaper. The Huntsville Times, AL.com, they cover Alabama A&M, but not a lot, because they're in Bama territory, and they get a lot of Bama and Georgia coverage in that paper. Alabama A&M does get some coverage, but not a lot from what I'm seeing right now. Moving on to Alabama State, the Hornets, their athletics Instagram account has 62 posts total and 6,187 followers. The football page is a little bit more active as far as posts go, with 215. and over 2,080 followers. They have last made a post on February 27th. So as you can see, they haven't been very active recently. They did do some recruiting posts and things of that nature, but not anything with spring practice. Their spring game was yesterday, so I'm gonna go back and look and see if anything has changed since the last time I looked. But not much going on now. Now the Twitter account has over 24,000 followers, and they were pretty active, updating some things about the spring game, and just posting some pictures and videos. And the Montgomery Advertiser is the local newspaper. They had some really good coverage of that spring game, which I like. That's something they gave. They were there on site, and they had some key, some things that they took away from the game, and they covered Alabama State pretty well. Sometimes to a detriment. If you've been following Alabama State, they don't have no problem with putting good and bad in the paper. So they're getting pretty good coverage there. Alcorn, their Instagram page has the athletics Instagram page has 2,068 posts and 7,656 followers. Now their football page is weird to me. They have 2,500 followers and 50 posts, but this page has not been updated since November of 2014. I tried to look and see if I could find something else, but that was their official account. They obviously are not active on there. I think that's a missed opportunity because mad people use Instagram probably more than Twitter or Facebook at this point in time. So I think you really need to get that up and running again. The Twitter account has 1,700. The Twitter account has 19,000 followers, and it's more active than obviously the Instagram page. They do update. They have updated recently. Up until and a little bit after their spring game, so they have been more active on Twitter than Instagram. The National Democrat covers Alcorn sports to a certain degree. Alcorn kind of being not in that, out of that area. They don't have like a local, major city newspaper, so they get decent coverage there, but not as good as some schools get. Moving on to Bethune Cookman, they have 2,178 posts on their athletic account, 9,099 followers, and the football account has 398 posts and 3,867 followers. They last posted on April 17th, which was around the time of their spring game. So they have been, hit and miss with their posts. They did a really good job during recruiting time of, posting, information on the guys, pictures and everything of the guys that they signed. Spring practice was a mixed bag. It was a long time before I even knew when their spring game was. I didn't even know they had started spring practice. But then they started, sporadically posting pics and information. So they've been kind of up and down, but they are fairly active. The Twitter account is kind of the same, nice, edits for the recruits that they signed on National Signing Day. Not much other than that. Then a few pictures around spring practice time. So been a hit or miss thing with them. The Twitter account has 17.9 thousand followers, and they get some coverage from the Daytona News Journal. I didn't see a lot of stuff in there. I didn't see anything on the spring game, at least from my brief research. FAMU, who is, like I said, somebody who is very, very active on social media. They Instagram athletics account has over 23,000 followers, and they have 3,432 posts. The football page has 354 posts and 11,000 followers, and they are really active. They post a lot of different pictures. They just posted, a bunch of pictures of their uniform combos, and they post, information from spring game and just different. They're really active, and they kind of keep you in the midst of what's going on there. They have 11,000 followers, and their last post that as me doing this info was April 13th, although they've posted since then. And the Twitter account has 20.2 thousand followers, and they are active on there as well. Like I said, social media, they get it. They really get what you need to do. They get how to put the information out there, and they get what people want to see. So I think they are one of the schools who are ahead of the game at this, and I hope they can continue to be at the forefront. Tallahassee Democrat does a really good job of covering FAMU athletics, football, basketball, baseball, whatever. They do a good job. They have their own section in there, so they get covered very well. Grambling has really stepped up their thing, especially football. They've been really active with a lot of good stuff. They really kept you in tune on what was going on at Grambling. I love what they do with really all their sports. On their picture, one of their pictures pitched a perfect game this weekend. They had that posted, with the info and everything, nice edit and everything. They've really stepped their game up big time. 2,654 total posts as far as my research goes on the athletic site, 12,000 followers. Football, they have 106 posts, 1,940 followers. They had last posted on April 2nd, which was the date of their spring game. I don't know if they posted anything since then, but they have 9,835 Twitter followers. And the Monroe News Star does a good job of covering Grambling athletics, all sports pretty much. So you've been able to get a lot of good information, leading up to the spring. And since Hugh Jackson's been brought in, Grambling's football social media has really exploded, and they've done a great job of taking advantage of the opportunities that they have and really getting out good information to people and, just growing day by day. Another team who I think is one of the top and has gotten really good at this is Jackson State. Of course, they have a ton of followers on all their accounts, 27,000 followers on the athletic site, 719 posts. Football has 163,000 followers, and that's basically the power of Coach Prime. And they've been really active on that. Their last post was April 18th, although, like I said, that's since the last time I looked. I know they're going to be mad active because today is their spring game, so I know they're going to be mad active there. They have 507 posts, and they give you a lot of practice videos, behind the scenes. They are kind of the standard setters at this, man. They are the group you want to kind of model yourself after, and they do a lot of different things, and they give you a lot of insight. Twitter 53.8 thousand followers, so they're very active on Twitter as well. Maybe they're more active on Instagram. Twitter wise, Coach Prime is probably their main account. He does a great job of putting out, like I said, information on what JSU is doing and in the whole nine. So the Clarion Ledger covers JSU. They have their own beat writer. They have their own section, and they get a lot of information out on all sports. So football, they have been very thorough with Jackson State. So you don't lack for information from them in that aspect. Valley is a mixed bag. I mean, that's pretty much what you should expect from a school like the size of Valley. The athletics Instagram page has 1,018 followers, and they have 1,050 posts. They don't have an Instagram page for their football program that I can find. Twitter, their football Instagram has 15.8 thousand followers, and they're kind of active, especially a little bit more now. Since they wrapped up the spring game, leading up to that, they were pretty active. As far as newspapers go, I guess you could say the Greenwood Commonwealth is, I think, the closest newspaper to them, and they have some things, but not a lot. Prairie View, they have been pretty active as far as their main athletic site goes. 3,298 posts and 1,300 followers. The football Instagram page has 59 total posts. They last posted on their Instagram page in September of 2020. Now, I don't know if I'm not looking at the right one, but they didn't have a lot of things going on. 1,300 followers on their IG. The Twitter account, 2,700 followers, and they have been pretty active on Twitter, especially with the spring game. They had some running updates during the game. I thought that was a good look. They had pictures and things during spring practice, and just, kind of let you know what the vibe was like there. And I thought they did a good job with that on Twitter. Now, it's like I said, Instagram page, maybe I didn't find the right one, but, there was not a lot of information on the one I found. Click to Houston was a site that I found that had a lot of Prairie View stuff as far as news goes. The Houston Chronicle is for both TSU and Prairie View. I don't think they do a really good job of covering them, but that's a major city. I'm sure they got mad things to cover, and HBCU sports falls very low on their totem pole, which I think sucks. But it is what it is. Southern 1,534 posts on their athletic site, and 13,000 followers on the athletic site. And Southern's athletic Instagram is very thorough. They post a lot of updates on all games and sports, and things that's going on campus, and they do a good job with that. On the football social media pages are improving. At one point they weren't really that active. I think during the season they started doing, like I said, uniform reveals and things like that. And it's getting better since since Coach Dooley took over, it's getting a lot better as far as, with the people who are in charge of these things. They've been really good with the spring practices, videos, short videos, pictures, highlights from pro days, the information, each guy's pro day information, individual edit pictures and things like that, and they put out a spring game roster, and just really did they're getting better at putting out that kind of information. So I think Southern's gonna be one of those schools that starts to go that route of being more active on social media. Still got a ways to go to catch up to the big dogs that I think are at the top of social media right now. But the football account has 61 posts and 3,306 followers. Their last post was April 16th, and they posted some more since then. Twitter, 13,006 followers, 13,000.6 followers. And the Baton Rouge Advocate, they have, a beat writer assigned to Southern University, and they get a lot of information out, pretty much, whenever all sports are fairly covered well. I mean, when you share a city with LSU, your news access and your news space is gonna not be as great as it could be. But Southern's been a school that's gotten really good coverage in the newspaper for a long time, so that's nothing to complain about for them. Texas Southern's athletics Instagram page, 1,665 posts, 6,025 followers, 86 posts on the football page, 2,367 followers. They last posted on April 12th, which was around the time of their spring game. And their Twitter account has 18,000 followers. And of course, like I said, the Houston Chronicle is, hit or miss with TSU. Now, you're not going to get a lot here, and, you're going to have to kind of search to find things. But I think their accounts are more active. They're getting more active, and they've done a good job of, promoting some of their guys and things like that. Pine Bluff, I think Pine Bluff has some of the best edits of some of their pictures and things of anybody. They've been pretty active. They've really let you know what's going on at the school. When events are coming up. Their Instagram page, athletics Instagram page, 2,645 posts, 4,038 followers. Football, 33 posts, 424 followers. They last posted was 4/11, although they did have the spring game, and I saw some pictures and things from that. Same thing with the Twitter account, 3,829 followers. Pretty active there. They did a good job of, letting when the spring game was coming up and what was going on with it. The Pine Bluff commercial covers Pine Bluff sports. So just wanted to kind of run through, some of the things I saw with some of these pages. Everybody's, kind of improving. You got some people who still are kind of lagging behind, but this is not a make or break thing. Having a good social media program does not mean you're gonna have a great football team, and vice versa. But it's one of those things that I think is important in this day and age. You want to be able to get your information out to everybody, and you want to be able to have everybody have access. Because nowadays, especially with me and all the other great YouTube people, man, who do a lot of good jobs with these things. They want to get the information. The easiest way to get information without having to do a hell of a lot of legwork is to be able to reach out to social media and find what you need. The newspaper can help, but a lot of time covering the SWAC is mad legwork, even for simple things. So being able to get any information without having to go to talk to somebody and you might get secondhand information or whatever. But being able to go to a site, you're on Instagram all day anyway. Being able to hit the school site and find what you need is a blessing. So I'm glad that it's getting better. Hopefully, it continues to grow because social media is very important in this age. Like I said, a lot of people who are older don't really like it, but it's one of those things that it's here to stay for now at least. So you need to take advantage of it and use it. So that's gonna do it for today's show. I'll be back on Wednesday with another edition of SWAC Talk. And then Thursday is SWAC Smoke live as usual, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, and then Sunday is SWAC Talk coming back at you. So I'm your boy C Wells, your tour guide. I'm gonna stop the bus, man. Y'all can hop off. I'll catch y'all on Wednesday, and we're out of here. Peace.